What's up, everybody? Late in the week, we're moving towards the weekend. Stuff just keeps getting better and better. This came out yesterday, part of this story, Wednesday, probably Tuesday and days before as well. Got a little bit of a pushback here. So March for Our Lives co-founder calls fellow Parkland survivor, David Hogg, a grifter, over his good pillow rival to MyPillow. But the activist defends his startup, saying he needs to put food on the table and pay for therapy. As David Hogg, 20, defended his new pillow venture against Backlash Wednesday. He announced his company will be called Good Pillow and took pre-orders. Company aims to be progressive rival to right-winger Mike Lindell's MyPillow. Parkland survivor and March for Our Lives co-founder Kasky called him out. "This is embarrassing," Kasky lamented, calling Hogg's pillow venture a grift. Hogg defended himself in emotional tweets, saying he needs to pay for therapy. Did he really go there? "I'm a human being that gets to decide what I want to do with my life," Hogg said. You tell him, David. You tell him. Cameron Kasky, a fellow Parkland survivor, who, together with Hogg, Emma Gonzalez, and other students, organized the national gun protest March for Our Lives in 2018, blasted Hogg's new company as a grift and a cash grab in a series of tweets. To those of you who marched, donated, lobbied, and called for change, "I'm so sorry this is what it turned into. This is embarrassing," Kasky wrote. "But welcome to America. Everything ends up a grift." Interestingly enough, the only name you really ever hear is Hogg. He is definitely the one who's been able to capitalize on this. How did that work out that he was the one that was pushed to the forefront? I don't know. He used that to get into an Ivy League school. I believe it was Harvard he got into. From what I had read before, you can fact check me if I'm wrong, but from what I read before, what I understand, his grades weren't really up to par of somebody they would normally take into their admissions class, but he parlayed that fame into a slot in Harvard's class that particular year. Emma Gonzalez, Cameron Kasky, honestly, I've never heard of them. But then again, I never did a deep dive into the whole Parkland situation. I wasn't doing videos at that time. So if I had been doing videos at that time, I'm sure I would have heard of these individuals. If you think about what the left likes, and this is definitely a partisan take as they mentioned above, but this person here, this person here, this person here, maybe this is Emma here, that they are the ones in this day and age that should be turning this into a money grab, an opportunity. An individual like this, they wouldn't be the face of the movement should this happen today, if you get my drift. That said, everything turns into a grift, right? The one thing you can count on from me is I'll never be a grifter, because how could somebody just take something, a $5 or $10 pillow you could get at Walmart, and because of their status in life, because of their popularity, because of their name, because of the causes they identify with, "I'm so woke. Buy this pillow. It's going to be sourced by union shops in America. We're going to hire migrants. We're going to hire illegals. We're going to hire whoever. It's all for social justice. We're going to donate to all these great charitable causes." How could somebody take a cheap pillow and, like I said, $5, $10 pillow, get $50 out of it? Is that a grift? I don't know. I would never do that, but I've got this pillow here that I picked up at Home Goods for about $5. You know, the missus loved it. It's her thing. If I identify as somebody who's anti-Trump right now, if I identify as pro-BLM, pro-impeachment, if I put a Biden cap on my head right now, or maybe even a Trump cap for some of you, would you buy this pillow off me for $50? It's a steal of a deal. Sourced by, what's this say? Fabrique in Chile. Oops, not an American one. Let's get that out of here. That's the grift, baby. You love it. There's tweets from Cam. Oh, here's a follow-up one. "To those of you claiming I am jealous about the pillow grift, I was actually offered free shares as soon as I started tweeting about it. I just declined because while I'm kind of a grifter, I'm not that much of a grifter. I love it. The man turned down free shares. Give him credit. Having some principle. Most people wouldn't. I spent so much time promising people that this wasn't going to turn into a cash grab. I am applying my own clown makeup with the shame I deserve and introspection. It's a beautiful thing. I don't think that many people would have hated on him if he would have turned this into a money grab or a money intake situation, so to speak, because the situation was traumatic for those who were actual survivors. Now, here's what I've said about this when I talked about Hogg and Parkland and individuals who I deem as survivors. You can think about the Vegas one as well, or numerous other shootings that have happened, where if you were an individual, and this is just me, maybe you see it different. If you were an individual inside the school, and I don't know the size of the school, but let's say there was 2,000 kids in there and 100 rooms, for example, and the shooter went in, and he went into a grand total of 10 rooms. Whether or not you got shot, if he shot somebody within that room, or he thought about it in one of those 10 rooms, to me, you're a survivor. You were in harm's way. And I don't know about this about Cam or Emma or David or any of these other survivors. That's what a survivor is to me. If you came eye to eye with that danger in any kind of way. If you were somebody who was in one of those other 90 rooms, remember, this is just an example I'm using, who the shooter never went into your room and all you ever did was hide under a desk until the police came and laid the shooter down, then you aren't a survivor. You have no survivor status, in my opinion. Now, I don't know about Hogg's situation. As I said, he's at the forefront of this. I didn't look into it that much because, as I said, I wasn't really doing videos at the time. So if he was put in harm's way, let me know in the comments. Tell me I'm a bum. Tell me I'm a scrub. Tell me he dodged 5 bullets and did a karate kick off a desk and kicked the guy in the jaw. But to me, unless you're directly in harm's way, you weren't a survivor. Is the person, if the shooter was only on the first floor, ever, again, hypothetically, and your class was on the second, third, fourth floor of a building, are you a survivor? I don't think so. I think you're somebody who just happened to be there at the time that a tragic event happened. Now, are you glad you lived through the day? Fuck yeah, you are. Would I rather live through that? Would I rather have been somewhere else than one of those rooms that the shooter entered? Oh, hell yeah. But that's just how I qualify a survivor. And there's levels of that. An individual who was shot at, injured, and died because of this stuff. Each one of those is a higher level of survivorism and much more respect to all of those individuals who are at that higher level. Again, that's just my standard. I don't know how you feel about it. This is Good Pillow here. Let's check out the series of tweets here. I am more than my trauma. Apparently not, because he keeps invoking it. I am more than an activist. I'm a human being that gets to decide what I want to do with my life. If I want to start a pillow company to help people feed myself and create jobs, I'm going to do it. Ooh, you told him. I love when they think that you're telling people off on Twitter. It's like, guy, come on. To all those questioning my intentions, sincerely F off. I refuse to feel guilty about wanting to help people and feed myself and pay for therapy. You may not agree with how I do it, but ultimately I know what my intentions are. To help people. I'll prove it. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. We'll see what happens. To all the people that hate us for trying to make the world a better place, I hope you get the help you need, because happiness is not going to come from hate. So here's an individual over here talking about how he needs therapy, but yet he's lecturing other people, telling them to get therapy. Interesting, huh? It comes from hard work, doing good, and having great friends. Hate all you want. We will prove you wrong. Legitimately, I hope so. I would love for that to be the case. And if you're not familiar, the company is set up with the intention of, it's what I talked about before, was using American union labor, helping veterans, refugees, I believe, were mentioned, some other groups, I think disabled individuals were mentioned. Those are all great things. Individuals who may not be able to get a job otherwise, or may have difficulties getting a job otherwise. Prison, former felons, I believe, was another one that was mentioned. And that's great. Sustainably sourced, that's great. As many individuals out there starting up companies that can help Americans, that's great. If he does that, then kudos to him, definitely. I'll still think that he's shady and a creep and a twerp, for sure. And he's definitely going to, in my opinion, be somebody who plays that victim card his entire life. Whenever you come at him, all he's going to do is jump on Twitter, crawl up in a little ball, start crying, and play the victim card. Now again, was he in harm's way? I don't know. I'm just speaking about all of this stuff as if how I see him. This is like the perception of him. He comes off like a sleazeball to me. So again, tell me below in the comments if he was directly in harm's way, because that would definitely make me reconsider some things. It says here, Hogg said that the partners aim to sell 1 million of product within the first year. MyPillow generates about 280 million in sales per year. Lindell has revealed in interviews, though the company has faced headwinds from distributors, including Kohl's and Wayfair, pulling their products from store shelves. Mike isn't going to know what hit him. This pillow fight is just getting started, Hogg tweeted. Legate told dailymail.com last week that the new company started 2 days ago as a joke. We are 100% serious. Company will be officially incorporated by next week, Legate told dailymail.com. Legate said he will be investing $100,000 of his own fortune in the company, which, he said, will have a site up this month. We have had lots of interest from investors as well as many celebrities. As for manufacturing plans, they will be manufactured in the United States and union-made, Legate told Daily Mail. And think about it like this. Partisanship being what it is, I don't doubt all of you out there know that. If you have something that's culturally seen as right or left, in this case the left, whomever backs it, they're probably going to buy things, in this case pillows, just to buy them just because of the cause. And so a couple examples are this. An individual kneels for the national anthem. He's a nobody, he's a scrub, he's a loser, he's a backup quarterback. Kneels for the anthem, his jersey sales shoot to number 1. But have you ever seen anybody wearing that number 7 red jersey around? I may have seen a couple. Maybe there's a lot more that appear at 49er games. People buy things just to buy things. Well, think about that, but think about this one as well. You have an individual for the Steelers, Alejandro Villanueva. When he stood for the national anthem, this was a couple years ago, a former Army Ranger, stood for the national anthem, jersey sales through the roof. He's an offensive lineman, though. You know how it is, guys, in sports. If you follow football, you know linemen don't get any love. And recently, in 2020, in the bubble, Jonathan Isaac, player for the Magic, stood for the anthem. Boom, jersey sales went up to number 2. Behind you know who? Well, the supreme bender over who takes Chinese D up his butthole, LeBron James. So it just shows that on each side, and again, specifically using those sports examples, that there are individuals who support whatever cause they identify with, culturally, politically. Another example, I guess, would have been the Goya beans, quite recently, right? So that you have celebrities and other people out here coming out trying to get behind this, not a shock. And I don't doubt they'll do well, because one thing we know, celebrities are not very smart and they throw their money at dumb causes. We're going to prove that progressives can make a better pillow, run a better business, and help make the world a better place while doing it. We will have the name announced soon, but we need to get through the legal process of trademarking, as so on. Probably and so on. In response to that, they got a tweet here from Lindell. On this screen, I'm assuming it's legitimate. Lindell says good for them, nothing wrong with competition. And then just a little bit about MyPillow real quick to wrap this up. I'm sure all of you have your thoughts on this cultural battle left and right, but what you clearly see is the spread getting greater and greater every day between the two sides. Decoupling, the left has the culture, the institutions, banking, social media, so many things you can name, Hollywood, athletes, they have all of that stuff. So at some point, you question if individuals on the right are going to get tired of that, mobilize better, and stand behind things they believe and start their own things, like they talk about with Gab. Is it possible to start a professional sports league, banks, a Hollywood of their own? It looks like we're headed that direction. Drastic, I know, to think about something like that even just a few years ago, but it really seems like this permanent divide is being capitalized on by people on all sides of the aisle, and there really is no going back, that we've reached that tipping point. The Minnesota-based company's account was permanently suspended last week, a week after Lindell himself was barred from the platform for supporting Donald Trump's claims of election fraud. Lindell has repeatedly pushed allegations that the Dominion voting systems had switched millions of votes from Trump to Joe Biden in swing states during the November presidential election. All right, so that's that. Let me know what you guys think, everybody. Let me take a quick look at some of the comments here. Let him start his business. It'll fail because he has no idea what real hard work is, nor does he understand how business functions. He'll quickly realize that in order for his company to thrive, today's liberal policies do not favor business at all. Then he can claim victimhood on a whole other level. That's beautiful. Trying to make money, and not the failure part, but just the whole comment's pretty funny. Trying to make money off the dead, worst of the worst. That Hogg kid wasn't even there. Stop giving him press. Time for him to fade off into the sunset like all the victims. All the victims like him, I should say. Was he really not there? And that's what I talked about, is being in one of the rooms, being in the vicinity. Forever a victim. There you have it, everybody. Take care. And if you're watching this before bed, have a good night's sleep. For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com. That's terrible. That's the best I could do. Visit goodpillow.com just to, give both sides of it. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. Be well.